So today we got another kind of project going on. We're not really going to do too much project to it today, really. We're basically just trying to get this car to move, not this one. We have another one right outside the door here for you. We're going to show you in a second. What this is actually be a 68 Camino. It's been in the family for years. It ended up having to sit for a while just because it needed some work and some rodents got to it. Long story short, we think all it's going to need to maybe get it to start up today is a battery, some spark plug wires, and there's a little plug. Long story short, the oil pressure sending unit, the line to it blew off, and we're just going to plug that for now. Because basically we're literally just trying to move this car about 20 feet. We just can't push it because it's a little large. Let's go ahead and check out what this car looks like. So as you can see on this side, it's not really too bad, but once you go over here, we had a couple wires just get chewed all the way through. So we're gonna go ahead and get these replaced, and there's a little hole back there, you can't really see it. We're gonna go ahead and see if we can get that stuff changed, see if this thing will start up for us, hopefully. Okay, sorry about all the planes. They seem to be everywhere today. This is the little fitting we're going to put in to go ahead and block that, the oil pressure gauge thing. Here's a little look at it, just a little brass fitting, some Teflon tape on it. We'll get that in here. Got some spark plug wires from the local store. Got some 90-degree ones. We got headers on this. Should work out. Alright, so we're headed back to the store. What we got, which is going to be kind of a good thing, but just wasn't planning on it, is we got the actual like build-it-yourself wires. Not like wires that are specific to a vehicle where it's already redone, which is probably going to be good because we do have the headers, and so we're all a little different. There's no 68 Caminos that came with HEI distributors or nothing like that. So we should head out, get a tool that does the crimping to the end of the wires, because you can see there's no boots on it. So not a big deal, just gotta go get a tool. Alright, so it's another day here at Tacker Garage. Went out to try to find those the crimpers for the spark plug wires, and they are just nowhere to be found locally, and people kind of look at me like I was crazy for wanting them. So I went online, went on to, I believe it was Summit Racing, and I found these wire crimpers, some Excel wire crimpers. So these have like the special jaws in it. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but special jaws in it that'll actually crimp down the crimps for the actual spark plug wire specifically. And they have like the stripper and everything. So we'll go ahead, we'll get these open, we'll get the wires open, and then maybe I'll show you one real quick, and then we'll just get these wires on this truck.
While he's working on that, I'm gonna get some old stickers off the car that are stuck on the windows, as well as get the seat belts out because they're deteriorating, and we're gonna put some new ones in with the seats. All right.
Okay, so here we are, we're gonna do a wire. Now, I've done most of them already, we're just gonna do the last one, but I wanted to show you kind of how this stuff works. So here's the pliers we got. They're kind of a ratcheting one. So just gotta keep that in mind. Now we have a few different jaws in here. So this one right here is gonna be the last one we're gonna use. That's gonna actually crimp the terminal onto the wire. This one here, is easier to see when I close it, is actually what you use to strip the wire with. So that's gonna be the first part of this we use. But before we even get to this, here's our old wire. So what we wanna do is we're gonna wanna try to make sure we get it about the same size. Now, when I was looking at mine, I want mine just to go a little bit shorter than this one, just because of the way it was made and stuff. That's what I want to do. So that's what I'm about to do. So I'm going to take my new wire, kind of match it up here. So this is the spark plug side. That's the spark plug side, obviously. So we're going to go, okay, it's about that long. So I'm going to cut mine right about here just because I want mine just a little bit shorter. So let's do that. For that, you just use, regular wire cutters. Alright, so now we cut that, get rid of that piece that we don't need. Now is when we're going to actually use the stripper part of this. So you just put it in there. You want to give it about, I don't know, maybe 3/4 of an inch or whatever you want to call that, right about there. So then you're going to put it in there. It's going to cut through the insulation. Maybe give it a twist, make sure it cuts nice. And bang, you're stripped. Now, if you've never seen this before, this black part right here is the actual wire. That's the actual part that's doing all the electricity and all that kind of stuff. So we're just going to get rid of all this extra insulation right here, again with wire cutters. So now the way you want this to sit, well, I did it a little bit out of order because we got to shove the boot on here now too. Let's get that. Now, when you get these wires, it comes with 2 different sets of boots. And so you want to pay attention to that because each one's different. Now what we have the Chevy HEI distributor in it, and it has like the male electrodes on it, if you want to call it electrode, whatever you want to call it. And so we need this because it's going to clip onto our actual thing. Now on my Ford, we do have a different kind, which the first time I put one of the wires together, I used one of these incorrectly. So this is one of the ones for like the female slot on top of the distributor. So that goes in there and it slots onto there, but this is the wrong for our application. So you just gotta pay attention to your distributor, make sure you get the right things. Anyway, so first we gotta put the boot on. So best thing is to get a little dielectric grease. That's what this is. And we're gonna go ahead and put just some grease in this hole so that when we're putting the wire through, it's actually gonna slide for us. And then put a little bit over here too, just to help make that corner. So we just slide it in here. Now it's a little tough. Don't be worried about that, it's supposed to be. It's a tight fit. It keeps all the water and stuff out when it's actually in use. And then what I'm doing in here too is I'm kind of straightening this out some while I'm doing it. So that way the wire actually comes through. All right. Then when you can kind of see the wire down in the hole, what I've been doing, get some needle nose, kind of fish them down in there, grab your wire, pull it on through. Now you don't want to be pulling on that black part. You want to be grabbing it by the insulation like I did. So, here we are. Might have accidentally grabbed this electrode a little bit. Looks like our end's still good on that side, so should be all right. So go ahead, we'll just trim that down a little bit. Don't need quite so much. So that's what you're going to end up with right there. Next step is you grab the little metal piece that it comes with. You're going to wrap that over. And you want that piece to be on the very back side of this. Just like that. And then what I've been doing to make sure it gets started good is you get just a regular pair of pliers. And it actually works almost perfect just to get this, just to start, just to pinch the wire so it doesn't go anywhere. And then our little black wire is actually trying to escape a little bit, so let's push him back in there. There it is. Now we get back to our ratcheting crimpers here. And we're gonna be using that last side with the hump in it. So we're gonna go ahead and unwrap them. Get it in here. And you can see, oops, there it is. We have that point right here. So as we crunch it down, it's actually going to crimp that metal, like so. And there it is. So it gives you that nice crimped in spot. You can kind of see how a bridge goes in. That way this isn't going anywhere. Then what I've been doing, just put another dab of the dielectric there and slide the wire back in. Of course, you don't want to pull too hard because you don't want to pull it out of your boot. Just kind of pull it down in there. Then when it starts actually getting in there, go real slow because it just kind of pops right in where you need it. So let's go ahead, we'll put this back on the truck and we're pretty much done with the wires. Now, if you come over here, you'll see the wires we took off. I kind of laid them out here. You can see several of them had some serious rodent damage where it got chewed apart, which we could see. Now there was one, which one was it here? I think it was this one. Had rodent damage you couldn't see. There it is. This part was kind of laying up against the firewall back by the distributor, and I didn't really see it, so it's a good thing we did this because not only we had the obvious ones, we had some hidden ones too, and that's going to be the thing we're going to be running into possibly this whole time, is hidden rodent damage. We don't know what we're going to find. We're kind of hoping we found it all, other than the interior stuff, but we'll get this, see if we can get this started, see if we find any more stuff. Now I'm just gonna redo some of the wire combs just to make them look kind of prettier, but that's it. We got all the wires on here. You can see now we got all the red wires. Try to make them look as neat as I can. Next step, once I finish making it the way I want it to look, we're gonna go ahead and throw a little fuel at the carburetor and see if this thing will kind of fire over to make sure we got some hope to see if we can't get this thing actually started today. All right, so here we go. Let's see what happens. Go ahead. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. All right, so we know there's hope. We'll go ahead, we'll try and get this thing actually fed some gas, see if we can get it to start for real. All right, so let's show you what this thing does. It's not quite starting, but it's close. We just got some more diagnosis to do, but let me show you. Go ahead, Sam. The bad thing is it'll only do that while you're holding the throttle and it's really not running right. I'm pretty sure there's some gas leaking out of the carburetor, but I also want to make sure this motor is actually good. So what we'll probably end up doing, we're going to clean up for the day, and then maybe later we're going to go ahead, we're going to maybe run like a compression test on this thing, and we're going to look into seeing about getting a carburetor rebuild kit. So look forward to that in future episodes. Today I think we're going to go ahead and call it and just kind of clean up, but we're getting close. So stay tuned for next time. Maybe we'll get this thing to move.